What's up, guys? Welcome to the MuseCast episode 55. And this is a special episode because, well, two reasons. One, we released another single music video. It's the third release in the Cue the Muses. Well, it's going to be more than a trilogy. It's a full miniseries. And in that music video is a different singer yet again, and it's Russ Skinner, and that's who this is right here. That's the other reason this is a great episode, because we have Russ Skinner joining us tonight. Say hello, Russ.
What's up, Muses? How y'all doing out there?
Crickets, 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 crickets.
Nah, man, I had a blast doing this thing. It was a lot of fun, man. It was so
awesome. Well, and it's funny because, like, as we've talked about so much on this, you know, guys, if you're not familiar, it's like it's a show. It's a 30-minute scripted show. We have episodes, and in each episode or chapter is a music video. And this is the first time we put out a music video first ahead of the episode. The episode will come out next month. But we filmed all this like 2 years ago now. And we're just now getting to see what it's like as an edit. And yeah, so as fun as it was, we're like rekindling a memory.
Delayed gratification for sure, man. But it was well worth the wait, man. I mean, it's great to see it. You know, I had no idea what it would look like. You know, obviously it's the first film stuff I've done, you know, so it was, I mean, you know, I've done like some low budget kind of music video type of stuff, but never anything even close to this level. So, you know, it's cool, man. And a different, unique experience. And I thought about all the editing you had to do on your end. It's kind of intense. So
yeah, it's ridiculous. These have like pushed the limits on my editing ability and helped raise the bar on myself. I learned how to do a lot of things I never knew how to do, like getting into After Effects a bit, some of the visual effects, the intensity of the color grading and stuff like that. But just the music video portion that's come out, like so far, that was roughly 300 hours of editing, just the editing. Like no joke, like I actually clock it all, and these have been averaging out at between 250 to 300 hours, you know, leaning heavily towards the 300-hour mark.
Man. 2 months.
Racks
2 months
of
work.
Yeah, dude. For no pay.
Unpaid work. 2 months of unpaid. Yeah. It racks my brain. I've done like very minimal Premiere editing, and just basically like a caveman banging on a rock is what I feel like to get something that's absolutely dumb, you know, like bare bones and hours of messing around with it. And I think about you in that studio just killing it.
You're talking about the claymation deal, Dick?
No, I don't.
That's cool, man. I like that.
It is cool.
That's I don't want to get into that just yet, but that's super easy because it's not Premiere. That's actually a free app that I've been using on my telephone. But Premiere is like the quintessential video editing software, right? I mean,
it's in the top 3 in my opinion. It's my favorite. It's that, or it's Resolve, or it's Final Cut. Those are kind of like the 3, and Resolve is the new kid on the block for actually having an editor in it. It used to be just color grading, but it was like renowned for its color grading. And then a few years ago, they implemented like how to, like, you could actually edit videos in it straight up, and it's up there. And look at that. That's a head in the making.
I'm gonna be sculpting a little guy as we do this podcast, because it's my nightly routine for practice is to just sculpt something. So we'll carry on, and he'll develop. I don't know what it'll be yet.
And that's cool. You know, that's a cool way really to exercise your hands for guitar. I mean, you know.
Yeah. I wonder if you'll get better.
You know, used to do the dexterity exercises, you know, and then when I met Eddie, I learned the real way to play air guitar. Like if you watch a guitar player air guitar, it's always right hand. It's the craziest.
Dude, the right hand. We've talked about that on this podcast so much. I've dedicated even an entire week at a time, sometimes over this last year, to like the first hour of guitar practice, literally just using my right hand. You're not allowed to fret anything yet. Like you can mute stuff or you can hold a harmonic. That's it. You can only move your right hand and just working on arpeggiation. And I love it. I mean, I never had done that before in 20 plus years of playing guitar. I had never thought to do that before. And then Kiko LaRue, the guy that was sitting in for Megadeth for like several years, was talking about that. And I was like, I'm going to try it. And it's badass. I'm into it.
And it's like, it's just the right hand exercise. There's no
just come up with stuff, you know, just anything that you find that your hand stumbles in trying to do. Hey, that's a drill. Like, go ahead and start drilling it just the right hand. A lot of metronome work just to make sure, you know, dividing it in all the different ways. But it's at first it seems boring, but you know, then it kind of becomes meditative. You know, you get kind of entranced.
Yeah, definitely.
You
know, and that's the thing that's so different for me. You know, being a singer and playing an instrument.
Yeah, you're a guitar player.
For me, singing is like the background work. Becoming a singer is like the hardest thing you'll ever do in your entire life. But then once you get there and you find your voice, it's the easiest thing to upkeep in the entire world. Like, I mean, outside of, you know, I used to do dumb things with my voice, you know, I used to abuse it and go to concerts, scream my voice out, you know. I'd blow my voice probably 50 to 100 times at least.
Yeah.
And I mean, it gave me rasp and edge. Like, it wasn't all bad. The effect.
When you say it gave you rasp and edge, was that temporary? Or you feel like it sustained it, like almost scarred your vocal cords to have a certain tone?
Not scarred. I mean, I have control over it. Honestly, blowing my voice, I felt like the comebacks made it stronger. Like, I used to blow my voice a lot when I was young. Like, and I haven't blown my voice in years. You know what I mean? Decade.
Right. And when you say that I'm very interested in this because, like, so you said that once you find your voice, then it's like easy to maintain. Oh, we lost you for a sec.
Oh,
well, you're back. You're back, buddy. I want to know the answer to this. So, like, when you say that you found your voice, what do you mean? You found how to control it, or you found a tonal quality that is your voice?
I found tonal quality that is mine.
Okay.
That's the thing, man. I'm somewhat known as probably being a vocal snob, you know, probably. I mean, I'll sit here and I'll list professional, big time, famous singers to me that have affected fake voices that aren't using their actual voice. They're using a put on. I mean, of course, there's the obvious Scott Stapps of the world who are doing poor Eddie Vedder imitations. Right. But I mean, look, Rob Thomas, I don't think when Rob Thomas is talking to his family, he's like, honey, well, I will. You know, he doesn't do that. And he doesn't say that.
I don't know, man. Hey, well, I will. Hey, well, I will.
I will. Now, when's the last time you heard a dude from Tennessee go, well? I mean, come on, man.
That is a really good point.
That's great.
There's a lot of singers out there. And now Eddie Vedder, I'm going to say this. Eddie Vedder, I think, is one of those singers that he doesn't talk the way he sings. He's not.
That's true.
He's not that. It's almost like a character, right? A lot of vocalists, I feel like they have a style, and then they use that character style when they sing, and that's becomes their vocal identity. Does that kind of make sense?
This is what I'll say. Eddie Vedder kind of sometimes can sound affected to the low side. Like, you know, the song Nothing Man?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing Man?
Yeah.
he doesn't sound as natural when he's doing the part that's like, once divided, nothing left to subtract. You know, when he's singing the low part, that sounds a little affected. But then when he's like, she once believed in every story he had to tell. When he goes up there, that's his real voice to me.
Yeah.
But then you think about guys who have like extremely unique voices, and I've always been jealous of the guys with the really high voices, like
Coheed.
Nah, not so much. I mean, because
I didn't picture you digging that. Yeah.
I don't dislike the guy, but Coheed kind of is a little Rush derivative for me, which I know sounds insane. I mean, it's more influenced, and I guess I should give them that, but it's very Rushy feel to me, you know, which I love Rush, and I like Coheed. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't thinking about him. I'm thinking, like, for me, there are some, and obviously it's all a matter of opinion, but there are some really iconic, unique singers for me that nobody sounds like them. That honestly, the two I'm thinking of aren't particularly good for me. Like,
you have to say who these are.
Perry Farrell. That dude has a unique voice. Like, I don't know how much James Fiction and Porno for Pyros you listen to, but that dude, nobody sounds like that dude.
Okay.
And Shannon Hoon from Blind Melon.
Yes.
Really high voice. And it's always the high guys for me because I always was kind of jealous.
Because it's something you can't do, or something it's difficult. Is that kind of what attracts you to the sound of it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so. Well, not really, man. There's something about those really high bell tone voices, man. Like, you know, like I love Led Zeppelin. I love Robert Plant, right? And you know, like, you know the song "What Is and What Should Never Be," right? If I should say to you tomorrow, you know that song. And he's like, "It's a wind since been sail away in the day, way up high in the sky." Like, dude, he goes up there. Because I just sang that with my falsetto, and it was on key, but I didn't have any tone because my voice isn't that high.
Right. I do get what you're saying.
Comes from the balls, and dude, don't get me wrong, man. Like I don't love, like, oh God, man, I'm so offensive. I apologize. I don't love Brian Johnson from AC/DC. Do not love him.
All right, dude. Hey, I don't either. I honestly, I've never gravitated to it.
I can emulate Axel. Kyle used to make me do that.
Okay.
Not make me, but he's like, dude, you can do that. He's like, you should do that, you know, but I don't like that.
I don't like it. Yeah, I mean, look, it's totally fine to like it, and I know that it's mega popular, and it sounds crazy and arrogant to say it, but the truth is, I've never latched on to it. I like, the only aspect I like about it is that it's so nostalgically iconic that in a film, I like it.
Right.
But I would never cue it up independently.
Are we talking about Guns N' Roses? Talking about Axl
No,
Rose?
AC/DC.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, because Axl can do the same thing, although I think Axl has a more appealing tone for me. Like,
me too.
I like the sound of his voice better.
Yeah,
like, I do not like the sound of Brian Johnson's voice at all. Don't get me wrong, dude can sing. It's kind of like, see, I love Geddy Lee, but you know how many people I hear say, "Man, I like Rush's music, but man, their singer."
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally. They're all very distinctive singers. I feel like everybody you just listed, and they're all kind of like they're good. They're all really good. They're great. They're better singers than me, 100%. But they're all kind of like, either there's no in between with those guys. You don't say, yeah, I kind of like that guy from AC/DC. I like a couple songs. No, either you like that or you don't like it. It's kind of and that's kind of the ground that you start treading in when you have such a unique tone, because nobody else sounds like those guys, right?
And the thing is, I hate to really kind of be critical of any rock music, past or present, to an extent, because I think that the market of rock is kind of limited at this point, especially at like an elite recording level, because recording's expensive and now it's independent. Labels and stuff, it doesn't really exist. Those things served a purpose. And that's what I've learned in my journey as a recording artist in particular, more than a performer, is that not everybody can do the recording thing. You know what I mean? The recording
Correct.
thing.
Yeah.
And I mean that both production and performing, like the people who are performing the tapes and the people who are tracking, engineering these records, And it's just tough. Working with someone like Brett, is a privilege. I mean, working with somebody like Ash is a privilege, somebody who does this for a living and understands the nuances of this. Because, the big thing we say about today is, oh, anybody can make a record today. And I challenge that. Yeah. Strongly.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people make a lot of records, but I think a lot of bands struggle, to, especially like, I mean, I'm a local scene guy. I've played regionally. I've been on tours, through the East Coast, but I mean, I've played with hundreds of like local level and small regional bands, hundreds. And I'll say, man, the one thing everybody has in common is nobody has any budget, so no one has like a really pro sounding record. You know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean.
I'm not involved. I don't know anything about the finances of Cue the Muses, but judging the distance we traveled and the professionalism of the people that we worked with, I'm assuming it wasn't cheap. You know what I mean?
Right.
Brett, it's for real. Like
Brett is for real, right? Like the size that he can give those recordings.
Buddy that bought some gear at Guitar Center and has a studio in his bedroom. It's not the same thing. Yeah. And I think that those places, you can cut really good demos, man, but if you're going to track a record, I mean, dude, it's probably going to cost you several grand, which most bands don't have that kind of budget. And thankfully now I'm older and have a good job, so I can do whatever I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, you covered the gamut on so many topics there that I want to touch on. Well, first of all, let me give credit to Brett also. Like, I've recorded, and I'm happy with the recordings I've gotten in other places, but there is no doubt that my guitars never sounded the way it does when Brett has recorded it. And then cohesively, as far as just having the band sound big and full, the sound that I've always tried to go for in the writing style that I've had, where it's these big giant crescendos and long songs that try to build up. And Brett helped that I finally got to really hear what the potential was of trying to pursue that style of music to see if it was really working, because it would always sound a bit flat, I feel. At the very, very end, at the highest points, it never quite maximally went there. And to me, in Brett's recordings, he was really able to get it there. And so I'm just can't be more excited about how the recordings came out. And they really fueled me to have the endorsement to put all the time behind the show and the music videos. I mean, I just told you it was 300 hours of editing just for the music videos, another 300 hours for the episode. We built this. We're 3 episodes deep. We got another episode coming out. There's 2 more songs. This is a massive undertaking that if you add all of what it's going to take for me, I'll have basically spent over a year of my life non-pay, spread out over a few years to make this thing. And I wouldn't have done it if the recordings were weak. I just wouldn't have. No. I would have called it short on some level in some way, but Brett did help get it there. And just to point out, he actually wrote and recorded the bass parts that are on there. So instrumentally, he added a whole other dynamic to it that I think really helped lend it to be a lot more singer friendly. For the vocalist, I was getting a little bit paranoid about me and Dick playing. We only lock up on the same parts guitar wise a handful of times on the whole album. And I was worried that maybe there was too much going on that would conflict with vocal opportunities. And I feel like Brett's bass lines ensured that everyone had a palette that was very singable, even though it was as progressive as it was. That's just I'm not a vocalist. That's just what I kind of thought.
Well, yes. I mean, I think the fact that he tracked those parts and then also mixed it so he got the sounds that he wanted. You know what I mean? Like, because working with Kyle, as much as I have.
Kyle Alligood, drummer for Your Captain Speaking, your other project, and the recording engineer over at Gasoline Alley Studios, just to make sure everyone knows.
Yeah,
awesome guy.
Working with Kyle, you kind of learn a lot about just the entire process, of recording. I mean, it's so hard to explain to anyone who hasn't spent a lot of time doing it. I mean, man, you know what I'm saying. I mean,
I do,
like you said, 300 hours just to edit this.
Right.
300 hours to edit just the music video piece of all this, right?
Right. For one of the episodes.
One video. One episode.
And that's not even to take into the account the other, 100,000 probably hours you've spent doing video work in your life. I mean, it's just
it's a full-time gig for like 20 years now.
I mean, it's and you can tell it. I mean, in the investment, the equipment, all that stuff. Honestly, me getting picked up for this, I know was kind of a happy accident. That I just this kind of fell in my lap during COVID, you guys reached out kind of, and I was like, oh, cool. Okay.
That's right. We recorded this during COVID when it was still as the scariest thing, like where it was still like, we didn't even know what was going to happen from this. Is everything permanently closed? It was still very fresh.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. And I had a blast though. That was the only real outing I had where I did anything cool, like pretty much that whole time. I
had such a blast. And so people know, I mean, we took me and Dick, made sure that we had you and Nadira and Big Dave came, and we all went out there and recorded your guys' vocal parts. Me and Dick had already recorded the guitar work. We'd already gotten to do the drums with Tim, and Brett had already laid down bass, and those were the tracks that we gave you guys as instrumentals to come up with vocals for. I'm trying to not like give away certain things, even though everyone can look at the poster to see all the vocalists that do appear on the album. But basically the other vocal recordings had been recorded already on separate trip. But this was the trip where we got to go with the vocalist and hear it all happen in real time. I mean, how fun and unique was that? I've been, I've recorded multiple times in different studios with my band Kill Clouseau. Never before have I been in the scenario where I didn't even know what we were actually laying down. Like everyone had part ideas and I didn't get to hear them in their entirety. And we're like hearing each person do it for the first time. And we're like getting goosebumps, and it was amazing. It was such a unique thing, right?
Yeah, that had to be crazy for you guys. Yeah, I don't really even think about that end of it much, but for you guys it had to be weird because we all got to hear everything up front and we get to the studio. Well, you guys, we kind of did a little demo up at Dick's of my song, like Dick's studio in Crawfordville of Disco Nightmare, and when we were doing it, it was kind of nebulous at that point, and I was like, okay, now punch in, and so I was building sound palettes kind of with layers and stuff. Because that's what I think, if I were to tell you what my biggest strength is as a singer, I think that's it. I think I can build layers and make palettes of vocal, like how guitar players build, guitar players like Johnny Greenwood and The Edge and those kind of dudes build palettes of guitar.
Well, I would say that your other strength, and I mean, look, we're just like giving each other back massages here, but as far as comments go, but I just want to tell you straight up, like the tone, your voice tone, I mean, it's like it's got that male rock vocal frontman sound that so many people, in my opinion, chase. Like it's a very desirable, cool, great, just solid, like that's almost like what I want to hear on a rock song. And I was just so excited that you got to be on it because everybody has such a different vocal style that's on the album. That was very important for us, and we did not have that checkbox done yet. We did
Yeah.
not have that sound. And when you mentioned, I thought, just to bring it back to one of the first people you mentioned that you thought was cool, Shannon Hoon, Blind Melon, dude, I love, man, there was about a year where I almost exclusively listened to Blind Melon. I mean, I couldn't believe how good it was when I invested the time into the albums. And that
Some of
singer,
the
whew,
greatest records anybody ever did.
yeah,
Like,
seriously. It's such a shame that, he
Yeah.
died at such a young age. Yeah.
him and
I
all
gotta-
the other,
I
him
gotta
and
be honest.
90% all the,
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
heard a Blind Melon song that isn't the one from the little girl in the bee suit video.
Oh, wow, dude.
What?
It's good,
Never-
man.
I have
You know
I
Ed
have
Gain?
I have never
Ed-
heard, no, I've seen they had one other video, like they're in a car driving around or something. All I know,
that
all I
Soup?
know,
It was off of Soup.
I don't know. I'm not. I guess I need to go down maybe a Blind
Go
Melon.
listen to Suit, man. It's about the serial killer Ed Gain. It's like a concept record about that dude.
Oh, that's
good.
Like
dude.
they have a song. He was, "I'll make a shoehorn out of your shins. I'll make a lampshade of durable skin. Oh, and don't you know that I'm always feeling able when I'm sitting home and carving out your navel. I'm just carving out your navel." Yeah, it's like
Nice,
acoustic,
man.
kind of like upbeat, and like it's like
It's so good, dude. It's
Yeah.
so
yeah. I
good.
want to make rib cages into coffee tables too.
makes it so accessible. I gotta get into this. Hold on.
Yeah, you got to check it out, man. It's definitely worth investing some time
Yeah.
into. But well, yeah, man. It's so cool that we actually have the song out, and you're also, if people watch the music video all the way to the end, what I did was I put the trailer for the next chapter release at the end of the song, so people might have taken note that you're acting a little bit in it too. You actually have a little acting role in this episode. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no, it's
it
fun
was
and cool,
fun.
man. I dug it
Yeah.
for sure.
Cool, man. Well, hopefully you'll get your SAG certificate at the end of all this.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm looking for it.
Awesome, man. That's great.
I want to vote.
What else? When it comes to like just the actual, release of getting this out there, I just wanted to, like, we've been really real on this, podcast, talking about how hard it is to get something out there from just like an exposure point when you're not a performing act, getting people to even know that something exists. And we're like trying all these different angles. And, it took a lot to just get the launch ready, to like try and prep all the things associated with putting the video out, letting people know, making the different graphics, trying to get everyone involved. And it's still just like trudging through mud, because in particular, the biggest problem that we're up against is that, we want, as a music video primarily, first and foremost, even though we're up on Spotify, I'd love to get plays there, I would. We'll talk about Spotify in a second. But from a music video standpoint, we're trying to share this on Facebook as a way of letting even the people that want to know about it know, hey, it finally came out. And Facebook, just anytime you put a post up that has a YouTube link in it, shares it with 2 or 3 people. And that's it. They're going to cut it off at the knees because it's not their platform.
Yeah, it's a competing platform. Yeah.
And
we're
it's
experiencing
about the platform and not the money.
It's the platform wanting you to stay on Facebook, so it simply won't share links to any external sites. So whether we're sharing Spotify or we're sharing YouTube, it really will.
Would it work any external links? So like if you shared the Cue the Muses webpage and then that was the hub,
it's all pretty much squashed, because Facebook is not going to actively promote links that will take the clientele, the product, which is you looking at the screen. Anytime they're not gonna help you click away from Facebook and send their product somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, man, maybe, I don't know. I might try it. The thing where you select like 99 people that could potentially be interested in the product that you're plugging, and tag all those people. I mean, that's a way to reach them.
You can definitely, and here's the deal. So, Facebook is going to cut off anybody from doing too much of that, right? But what's interesting about our project is how many people are involved with it, from actors and crew to the band members themselves. There's like 10 of us. If each of us did that, we wouldn't be handicapped because we wouldn't reach the limit of them saying your account's frozen for being advertising, basically.
Right.
Because we could break it up if we were all, and we've all got different friend groups. So it's one of those things that it's a great idea. If we all did that and there's 15 of us, that'd be 1,500 people.
Yeah.
But it takes that kind of synergy and just everyone working together, you know, and not everyone's necessarily up for tagging that many people in a post. And I get that. I'm not going to pressure people to do something.
Man, my internet reputation, you know, my reputation is somewhat that I'm a scoundrel, I guess, in real life. So whatever, you know.
Same.
You are the disco nightmare.
Yeah, exactly.
I get to where I'm trolling people too much on the internet, just being a sarcastic asshole, and then I'm like, oh wait, I need to slow down. I'm actually upsetting people.
Did you guys hear the big news about Hunter?
Oh, and his amps, the amp endorsement.
Hunter just got picked up by Ashen Amps.
That's awesome.
I'm proud to be representing them.
Go look at the webpage and their sponsored artist. He's on there now, man. I was like, whoa.
I don't know anything about Ashen Amps. I mean, I made a joke because it's my name's in it, but
apparently they're like super nice, like boutique hand-wired, like
awesome.
But I mean, that's the thing, man. You know, Hunter does all those like, you know, like technical exercises and stuff, and he's done that approach to tagging people, and it's had good reach for him. And he moved a lot of his stuff to TikTok and then lost the account after he got the 1,000 or whatever followers. So I had to reset through it all. And that's the thing, man. Like, I mean, the thing is, all this stuff is, you know, multi-factor authentication. You know, you have to do MFA on everything. I mean, just to secure your crap, really.
Yeah. Well, I would say out of all of them, the least junky is YouTube's platform. Because the reason YouTube has the right precautions and it's less junky when you're actually operating as a channel account owner and you're setting up your YouTube studio and all that, is because there is it's the biggest video platform on the planet by far, way beyond Netflix and everything. And people are actually, anybody that has channels, there's a lot of money flying around that people are actually making. So if they mess up on a channel, literally they're screwing up an entire network that might be set up as a YouTube channel with lots of jobs and lots of money that's flowing around. So they have to have it a lot more secure. Whereas things like TikTok and Facebook, nobody's making money directly from the platform. You can make it through advertising and then sending them places, but YouTube physically pays within the account, you know, on the actual platform. So they're a lot less junky in that experience, and that's a much safer place to build a following. However, if you were making controversial content, which we don't, that's where you can get those strikes, or you can get strikes for copyright infringement stuff, which we're not trampling on. So we're in the safe zone building a foundation on YouTube. But the number one thing that you'd want, and I recommend this for any band and anybody that has a business, and this is the hardest thing to build, and we've got very little in this, is an email subscriber list, because no platform dictates that. You know, when you have something new, you literally get to send it to everybody for sure, and it gets to have whatever information in it that you need with clickable links. You know, that's still the creme de la creme of ensuring that you build up a fan base. And there's this idea that's been around for a decade or two now. It's like the 1,000 true fan concept. Do you know about that?
Where basically you can make a living off of having 1,000?
To an extent, it's like if you had 1,000 fans that were all willing to spend $100 on stuff that you made throughout the year. This could be from your albums to your merch to your tickets, you know, to your maybe a signed thing. If it averaged out at roughly $100, that'd be $100,000, right? And then just quantify it out from there. So if you had, you know, 5,000, then you're talking about $500,000. That's a real operating budget for a band to do a lot of stuff with and make a lot of content with. Keeping in mind it's being split between 4 or 5 people. In our case, you know, it's a little more complicated. There's 10 of us, but you get where I'm going with this, is that if you have real fans, you know.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, when you have those real fans and you can make money passively through your art. Well, you know, the thing is, man, I just, you know, with your captain speaking, we spent a hefty amount of money, making a record. And the thing is, though, the record really wasn't. I mean, the record is the prize because you want to have your stuff recorded forever, right? But
there's no money from the record.
But the record will sure get you some good gigs, and it'll
everything
great, and your fan base will grow.
It does everything. That's without that, you're nothing. Yeah.
Because, man, like I said, I played with so many bands for so long, I mean, both in them, I've jammed with hundreds of people, man, if not maybe pushing 1,000, like,
wow,
play with someone else, or groups of people. Because I used to do that, man. I used to be like a total band, not a band whore. I've pretty much always been like in one band, but our scene is so weird, man. Like, the Tallahassee scene is very strange because it's like the venues like you said, like I said, this was probably the heaviest song I've ever done.
Yeah.
And because I watched the last podcast, so I kind of saw that you guys were saying that this is the heaviest song I've ever done as far as like Timbo, man, on drums. He's a unique experience for me. He's by far the heaviest drummer I've ever played with by a long shot. Well, I haven't played with him, but recorded with him. Right. And I mean, dude, he's so good, and he plays so differently than other people I've played with. Like, that's what I mean by he's a unique experience. Granted, we can act like most music is a unique experience, man, but I'm telling you, man, there was a period of time in like 2008 to 2013-ish where I played with like probably 50 bands that almost sounded the exact same. It was great. And that's what I mean, I guess, kind of by finding your voice when I say that. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, the singer is not necessarily good, at any of it, like the fronting, the singing, that's the thing, man. And you see bands grow up, I'll say this, man. I think I actually saw the first Falls Chase show ever, I think. And they were calling themselves Freaks or something, or Freak or something at the time. And I saw them and I was like, oh boy, I can see potential in this, but it's very raw. They're probably 17 years old or something. I don't know, man. They were young. And
they're still 17 years old, aren't they?
Maybe. No, I think we're just getting older, Dick.
Yeah. Damn it. I thought I fixed it.
No, but no, you see those guys now and they're like grown a lot and are well rehearsed, and it's fun to see bands grow up. When you're one of the guys that's getting older, you can kind of see the young guys mature.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen Dick mature over the years. And the thing is, I haven't seen Ash really be involved in a hyper musical project in a long time.
That's right.
Until this.
Right. It's been 10 years, man.
Brought him out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was jonesing to get back into something again too, and I didn't know what it would be. I kind of thought it'd be a Kill Clouseau reunion style thing, but I also wanted to just have a different experience, because my whole experience that this is true. I mean, the 90% of my band experience and performing was all Kill Clouseau. One band. We went for it for over a decade. I didn't hop around to different bands. I had a couple before that, but
a very good band. That like, no, man, that's the thing. You guys had a deal, man. You guys kind of sounded like you're just doing your thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it just happened to be its own deal. You know what I mean?
Thanks. I appreciate it.
I think the biggest compliment a band can receive is that they sound unique.
I agree. I think that's so important.
My phone's dying.
No. Well, you know what? I mean, if there's a way for it to end with Russ complimenting my old band, I mean, it couldn't go out better than that, right, Dick?
I don't think so. He is frozen. Let's take a minute to marvel at Russ's frozen
We're gonna keep him there for a good minute before we close that out.
We can.
Oh, maybe you found a cord to plug it in.
Oh, I thought it would bring his face back, but it didn't.
Well, that was, we're going to have Russ on again sometime. It was actually interesting to hear him talk a little bit about about singing and finding your voice. I kind of wanted to dig deeper into that and would like to another time, because one of my favorite things that we've gotten to do on this show, Dick, is like talking about exploring new techniques and stuff. That we're trying with our instrumentation or recording. I like kind of drilling down on like how to actually do stuff. And he does have such a big voice. I'm kind of curious to find out more about like what helped him figure out how to find what his voice was, even like an actual drill or something, that he played around with. Just like I was talking about working on right hand techniques, and just focusing on that. I'd like to know some more details about, what he did when he found his voice, and that it just kind of took off from there, became easier.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation that can get dug out from that avenue, because I've had conversations with Kurt, who we need to get on this podcast, but
he'll ever get on. Yeah.
Come on, Kurt. If he will ever accept the challenge. But that challenge is talking to people. But the conversation that him and I have is he's told me that he gravitates as a vocalist towards singers that do things that either he finds challenging or he feels that he can't perform, and he's kind of like gets fixated on that, and he says a lot of stuff, and I don't want to say that Russ was kind of joking around, and I get the same way. Especially with my tight friend group, I get pretty hypercritical sometimes, like not more so in a playful way, but I feel that it comes across in a negative way, and I kind of don't really mean to. But a lot of the stuff that people send me, I feel is just a lot of over singing, and sometimes it bugs me when I hear like so much. Like, why is it so much? It doesn't always have to be like, great songs can still just be 3 chords and a harmony, and there's still an infinite amount of harmonies that you can put over 3 chords of the same, whatever those 3 acoustic chords are, with CGE or CGA, whatever, the CGC. Like, there's just so much potential, and it still hasn't been tapped. There's an infinite amount of avenues to go down. But at the same time, sometimes I just hear vocals. It's like, why are they doing so much there? But
when you say so much, are you meaning like how much they're trying to belt it at a part that doesn't need that and it doesn't match, or do you mean that they won't be quiet for the instrumentation to have a pocket, like a break?
Kind of both. Specifically, so. And I'm not going to say anything bad about my friends.
Let's be very, very specific.
The specific thing.
Who are we talking about?
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I don't want you to do that.
No. It's fine. What it is there's a couple styles of music that I just don't listen to, and that's fine. Like, not everybody's into everything, but there's a style of rock that's in this category. I think it's called urban rock. And it's like rock, like kind of really modern rock sound, radio friendly rock sound. And the vocals to me sound like male vocalists singing female R&B style stuff. Like, I'm thinking like En Vogue, like,
I know. I think I know who you're thinking.
Yeah. And like my friends that send me this stuff, and I'm kind of like, there's a market for this. I'm not that guy. I'm not around listening to this, man. It kind of makes me feel a little weird. I'm like, this guy's singing to me. And I have this thought. One of my best friends and one of the vocalists in one of my projects, Tim Matthews, has a voice that doesn't match his body sometimes. Tim is this just rough plumber biker guy, and he will sit down and pick up an acoustic guitar and play something that sounds like a lullaby that makes you feel like just like you're floating on a blanket of pillowy clouds in a dream. Right. And it's hypnotizing. It really is. And that I've had someone have had a song playing, one of his songs playing, and another guy that like not a music guy, like, what the hell is that? Is it singing me a lullaby, put me to sleep? Turn that shit off. And I'm like, well, I got to respect that because it's, not everybody listens to music for the same reasons.
Yeah.
And
but this goes back to what you were saying earlier in our. Oh, we got Russ back.
Like Russ just came back.
We'll pull him in here. Oh, it does it like this. Here, let me switch this up here. So, Russ, let me finish this one thought. I'm glad to have you back. You have a cord in your phone now?
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. What I was going to say, Dick, is that that all ties back to me about exactly what you were saying when you were pointing out how specific the tones were, where basically a voice is going to make or break a lot of people's liking of a particular band, and the more distinct the sound is, the more that dividing line is going to start to emerge, right? But at the same token, that is the only way that you get like the most loyal, biggest fans, is to have a truly unique signature sound. And I would say it's the same thing for me with movie directors. I mean, one of my favorite directors is Quentin Tarantino. You watch 2 minutes or even 1 minute of any Tarantino film and you can tell that's Tarantino. And you can also tell if somebody's imitating a Tarantino movie because they can't quite do it, right?
I've seen jokes on the internet about Tarantino movies, and here's my Tarantino joke for you. Okay. This is the preview for the new Quentin Tarantino movie. I guess because he likes feet, and there's always like a close in all of his movies. I need to go watch them all again because the joke is in all of his movies there's a close up of some woman's feet.
He has a foot fetish. It must be.
That's right. Ash, I'm gonna give you some homework to watch like a really good Tarantino-esque movie.
Okay.
Have you seen The Trip? It's like a 2021 Belgian movie.
No.
Check it out, man.
If I had a nickel for all the Belgian movies from early 20s. The Trip.
I have 2 movies I swore to Dick I would watch first that are on the list, though. This is the problem. It's ironic. I never get to watch movies. Well, one of them is the recent stop motion movie that you had said that I need to watch, which inspired him.
That's the Phil Tippett documentary. That's my name on the description. My stop motion moniker is I'm the Great Value version, the Great Value Phil Tippett.
And the other one was what is it from
One Cut of the Dead.
One Cut.
Russ,
that's good. Yeah, I've seen One Cut of the Dead.
Okay, don't say anything about it.
No, it's good. Watch it.
Okay.
You'll love it.
Okay. Yeah.
It'll appeal to your filmmaker. It'll appeal to the.
If anyone on the planet ever had to watch a movie, Ash needs to watch that one. And then we need to do a full podcast episode discussing that film and what happens. And
I
want to know your thoughts. I just want to interview you post watching that movie.
All right.
I want to be on there. I want to be on there to witness it. Did you see?
We should do a watch. Which one?
Did either of you see Dead God on Shudder?
No.
Dude, it's like you're talking about claymation, dude. It's like this insane claymation.
Do you mean Mad God?
Mad God. That's what it's called. Mad.
Yes. That's Phil Tippett. That's Phil Tippett. That's
okay, dude. That is unbelievably good, man. It is so good.
I'm writing it down.
I mean,
it's like an hour and a half long Tool video.
Wow.
That's
and so what Dick's talking about, I mean, they're really it's on Amazon Prime, right? That this documentary it's about Phil Tippett, and it's his whole journey with stop motion. And he was like a part of the whole Jurassic Park thing. He had the first bid on Jurassic Park. Their team did, and it got kind of stolen by the CGI guys, but they ended up still teaming up with them to help them with the physics. So they would move the stop motion figures apparently, so they could figure out how they would physically move. Is that right?
They created motion capture armatures. So the way Jurassic Park works, like say Phil Tippett had his stop motion armatures. This is Daddy Longfingers, by the way, and this is the new face for Daddy Longfingers. He's the face of Richard Burke Studios. But when you watch the CGI in Jurassic Park, there's actually armatures with motion captures on them, and Phil Tippett and his crew did the motion capturing of all the dinosaurs because the virtual effects guys, they could create the skin and a very believable dinosaur, but what they couldn't do was the animal movements, and they couldn't make it look believable. So they had Phil Tippett and his team who knew how to do motion capture animal movements and knew how the mechanics of the creatures worked. They did all the movements. So it was really a 50-50 combo of the traditional stop motion animators with the digital effects artists for Jurassic Park. And that is what made it what it was. That's why it worked so well.
And Adam Jones from Tool
was
on the Jurassic Park VFX team. And so it's just crazy because you just mentioned that Mad God is like an 1.5-hour Tool video.
Yes.
And he was working potentially directly with Tippett.
Yes.
In Jurassic Park. I mean, this is a guitar player from Tool, I mean, how crazy is that? Like, it's all connecting, small little circles, man. It's all available.
That's right.
Interesting. So it's like our Tallahassee world expanded. How we all know each other from everything,
Yeah.
The industry is just kind of like that, and then you scale up, if you have a bunch of money.
Yeah. That money.
Man, I hate to be that way about it, but it's like, look, man, this is all about money. I mean, the whole deal is all about money. I mean, not to us. You know what I mean? It's not.
Oh,
to
yeah,
us.
yeah. Well, my big thing about the money part of it is I just want money to all. I'll finish this thought. This is a very intense episode. Are you guys riding the roller coaster wave of this? As I've said many times, I want the money to have the budget to make the greatest thing we can think of. Because with money comes the opportunity to not do other stuff and focus on the craft and make something grander, have more props, have locations, have, more extravagant, fun things, have a miniature set. That takes time. It takes time. It takes money to put together all the things, and so I don't know if I have to repeat that now. Let's get him.
Get him in there.
Boom.
Okay. I lost you at the thing about the money.
The thing about the money, and I'll repeat it quicker for the audience, is that I want the money so we can make the coolest shit ever. I just want the money to fund the art so that way we can make the full vision. There's more ideas than we have the time and budget and locations and props and costumes to do. We did the best we have been able to do with no funding whatsoever other than just passion, blood, sweat, tears, and fun and joy. I'm not complaining about it. I just want to do more, and that's what the money enables. So it's like, I'm still going to buy a minivan at the end of the day. I'm not, I'm not an extravagant person, but I do geek out on having a better camera. I do geek out on having better software,
Man, I feel you 100% because the things I'm passionate about are weird. Like, I spend my discretionary money right now. Lately, it's been like antique Halloween ephemera from like the 1930s.
Oh, is this part of your decorations that you're tired from putting out today? You have it all around your house now?
Well, yeah, these are out, but these went out way earlier in the month. These are like outdoor decorations I put up today.
Okay. So I can't come gank all this unique stuff you just spent all your money on.
Well, dude, if you saw how obscenely amazing the art was on these things, it's like fine art, but in folk art form. I mean, and some of these things will blow your freaking mind, man. Like if you saw them, you'd be like, "Oh God!" You
should take some photos and put them up on the old Book of Face so I can see them.
Oh, I have some. I'll invite you to some groups. Well, no, I should just put them on my public profile. They're very interesting, man.
Yeah, I'm curious, genuinely.
Yeah,
and I do. I was doing baseball cards, like good ones though, not like Mickey Mantle's, Hank Aaron's, Honus Wagner's, Babe Ruth's. real baseball cards like that.
If you don't mind, we're approaching our hour, but you have a unique, one-of-a-kind story because I don't know anybody else that did this. You really do have a legit baseball collection, and if you don't mind talking about it, I don't know, but you sent some off because you have to get these basically assessed, right? Like, and then what happened in that process that was kind of bad?
This was during COVID. Okay. This is peak COVID. So I send off 15 cards, some of them were modern and in extremely high grade, like guys who are going to be Hall of Famers. I don't know who would in your audience know baseball players, but we're talking like Clayton Kershaw, Mookie Betts, like those kind of rookies. But I mean, I lost in 1934 Jimmy Fox, which is his second year, and this guy is like the greatest right-handed baseball hitter of all time until Albert Pujols. Whatever. So this is about, in present day, this would be about $7,500 worth of cards in present day.
That got lost between mailing back and forth to get it appraised.
Not lost. I spent $35 on the shipping to send this thing via UPS signature certified mail. They get it, they grade it, they send it back. COVID policy for USPS then became that they could sign for you due to no contact delivery. They take it, put it in, they sign for it, they put it in my mailbox. A kid must have come along during the day and taken it out of my mailbox that they just placed it in. Because I went to go, I was like, oh my God. I'm looking around, I'm like, where's my stuff? I walk down to my neighbor's yard and I find the advertising cards for PSA and like some other like auction car dealers ripped up little cards thrown in my neighbor's yard. Like they threw out the advertising cards. And the thing is, I was living on Hartsfield Road. I know the person that got them had no idea what they were looking at.
Oh my God.
There's no way. And the thing is, I got a check for like $2,000 from the grading company. And don't get me wrong, it worked out for me because I didn't have $7,500 in them because I was doing it before it became the thing du jour for baseball fans during COVID. It was like everything.
Right.
What didn't go up in price during COVID? You know what I mean?
I know meat went up and it hadn't come back down, man, because I'm carnivore eater and it's like
it's not going to, man. I mean, maybe a small crash, but nothing's going to be what it was pre-pandemic.
Yeah, agreed.
Hey, baby, inflation's baked in,
Yeah, I know. Don't get me started on it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a long other time. But
I can say, honestly, I'm not personally hurting. Like I'm good, and like you said, I'm a low maintenance dude. I mean, I don't have, my wife is low maintenance. Like we're low maintenance people, man, with low expenditures, and that's how we feel comfortable. What I mean?
Yeah, totally, man. That's great. It's a good thing for an artist to be because otherwise it's painful, Otherwise you don't get to do the art, really. I mean, if you can't, bring it down a notch on your spending, then you're not going to, and, a lot of times it's all or nothing for people to pursue doing it. Like they either don't have time, but the people that really, really want to figure it out, like they'll make concessions in other ways. So that way they can get to do it, and it's hard not getting to do it as much as I'd like to do it, but I've been getting to do it more and more, hence the completion of our last episode that's out, or going to come out very, very soon. It's already done. We're just waiting to release it because me and Dick are both going out of town next week. Well, actually, Dick's going out of town next week. He's got a cruise with all the biggest metal bands in the world, and then I'll be going to Vegas with all the biggest car show in the world to film that for Trans Am. So we're going to be back to back, gone out of town. Then when we get back that week, roughly, we'll try to release the episode. We have put a date out. It's 11/13. That is when we are releasing the actual full episode.
11/13.
So look out. 11/13.
Is that a Monday? Is that a Tuesday?
I think it's a Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a Wednesday.
It's an Ash Wednesday.
It is Ash Wednesday. It's actually just a regular Wednesday, but we'll call this a what is it? An honorary Ash Wednesday.
Sounds good. I'm down
Yes.
for that.
Yeah,
Really fun.
11/13.
You know, I'm pumped to make my acting debut. You know, I guess
Yeah.
you know, I don't know what my SAG title is. Or like what, you know, when I go to collect my award, I don't know what, you know.
Well, I mean,
I know they're gonna try to get Clooney to present it. But
And then I'm gonna challenge him to a jujitsu match right there on the stage for you, dude.
fuck yeah.
you can take Clooney. You can
I
take
don't know
Clooney.
it.
Russ, you're one of those guys. You're so nice and smiley, but you're a lot bigger than you like seem in person. And I think you're gonna intimidate him. You stand next to him and look down at him.
Dude, Russ can kick the shit out of George Clooney. You hear that, Clooney?
Yeah, coming for you, Clooney.
Is he 60 now?
60, and I think I can catch him on the
60.
downhill. You know what I'm saying? I think I can get after it, man. I think I can still handle myself. You know, I just gotta watch out. You know, I don't know. I gotta find out the age. I don't need any elder abuse charges, nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still trying to continue on with Cue the Muses and my music career. You know,
Dude, if you actually beat up George Clooney, that's a roadmap for success for us. I'd love that.
Publicity.
We'll be in all kinds of publicity.
We'll bail
and
you
you
out
get a
so
movie.
fast.
I did another movie made about me, not even starring me.
Yes.
I'll play you.
Yeah.
Russ Skinner.
Just because I can film it in my own time, you know.
Dick Perkins, George Clooney.
Okay. I think we all have a plan and action items, and we need to carry these out.
That's it. The marketing plan is in motion, guys, for the next album.
No algorithm can stop this, man. This
no
is
shit. Yeah.
If
That's
anybody
awesome.
knows where George Clooney's going to be between November 14th and 17th, please email cuethemuses.com. Not really. Not really.
Not really. Yeah, maybe not really.
Maybe.
But anyway, dude, Russ, it was awesome having you. I was, thought we would only have you for a little bit, and we had you throughout the episode. It's great. I want to have you on again sometime, and maybe we could drill down. I mentioned even when you were gone in one of those fragments, I wanted to know more about the specifics of like maybe even some of your vocal practice and stuff like that. We talk about guitar practice techniques and recording techniques.
I'd absolutely give a breakdown, man, because it's
cool.
Yeah,
I know people don't. It's hard to understand if you don't do it. And also, Lucky Goat Coffee. Good stuff.
That's right. We didn't get to have our coffee conversation. All right, so there's room.
I was like, I have to talk coffee at some point, man. I'm obsessed.
Dude, I drink so much.
Let's do a full episode dedicated to technique and finding your voice.
Yeah, man. Vocals and coffee.
Yeah. I would love to. You know who else would be a great person to have on that? Nadira. Man, she's got.
Yeah.
You know what? Nadira's so shy. I bet she'll do it if you're on there with her. I bet.
I agree.
She loves you, Russ.
And I say that because you could get the male perspective and the female perspective.
Yeah, I love it.
I can't speak for female vocalists. It's two different worlds.
It sounds like a banger episode. We'll try to. Maybe we'll get to do it after the episode comes out. Yeah. And then we'll have that to pump and talk about anyway. So maybe it's sometime next month.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And she's a rock star too. So.
Oh God, I mean, don't get us started praising Nadira again on this podcast because we praise her so like every other episode. But yeah, absolutely.
I'm queuing up the end, folks. It has been episode 55 of the Cue the Muse podcast, otherwise known as the MuseCast, with special guest Mr. Russ Skinner and your hosts Dick Burke, Ash Von Chaumier.